Oh, okay.
Enter.
Okay, cool.
Okay, perfect. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome. We are live with Kevin Geraci. We are super excited. He is going to be taking us behind the scenes into all of his operations for his flipping business in Cincinnati, Ohio. He blew my mind when he showed me his whole EOS system, and which he's going to be sharing with us today. So I am super excited. Kevin, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how you got started and where you are today?
Yeah, I love your energy there, Miranda. That's awesome. Yeah, so I'm Kevin Geraci, flipping homes in Cincinnati. So we got flips and we also got some rentals in the Cincinnati area. I originally went from real estate I went from radio to real estate and been doing real estate for about over 20 years now. So I've done hundreds of flips and we've also sold billions and billions of dollars of renovations and also represent buyers and sellers. So we're going to jump in today, though, on a program I use. It's called EOS. It's Entrepreneurs Operating System, and hopefully this can help you out if you're flipping homes, and whether it's Cincinnati, California, Phoenix, wherever. So if it's okay, Miranda, I'm going to dive right into this because I know
Yeah.
we've done it so long. Again, at the end of this, we will be sharing the things that I use, the tools and the resources. So you will get a copy of this stuff, and not in like 2 days, 3 days, a week. You're going to get that today. We're going to make sure we get that over to you. So hang tight as we move forward here, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. So that is the first thing we're going to start with is I'm going to show you from a high level what our business looks like, so you can really get an idea as we dive into this. We're going to start with the accountability chart. And again, this will make more sense as I share these tools with you. So I'm considered the integrator for the business. And as you look down here, you're going to have many people that are involved. Now, when you get started, give yourself grace. You're not going to have all these people probably on your team, like a bookkeeper, an accountant, a marketing person, an admin, and that's usually what a business is going to consist of. So, like I said, give yourself grace. We have two people as far as we call them operation managers, but they're our GCs. We got one that handles the smaller projects, and then one that handles the larger projects, and that's Brandon down here at the bottom. And then from there, you have just some blocks of where it's telling you what they do for us. LMA, by the way, stands for Lead Managed and Accountable. You'll see that on a lot of these boxes that are in here. One of the things I was asked too was like, okay, where do you start then? For a flipping business, what would it be? A bookkeeper, and your actual accountant, or your admin, or your sales and marketing. For me, what I started with was an actual GC, an operation manager that could handle the subs and work with the subs. And you can see that down here with Brandon. He does material change orders, timeline, budget, implements designs, and permits for the project. So that's where I started. I'm going to go, Miranda, should I go on to like the level 10 meetings, you think, or the scorecard probably be good?
Yeah, let's do scorecard.
Okay.
Really quickly,
Yeah.
when you were building this team and this accountability chart, at what point do you feel like you were ready to start building this? Like, yes, you got your GC, that was great, but at what point after that did you feel like you needed to scale to this magnitude?
Yeah, I think the what I learned is when I got to the point where uh, I felt real comfortable with my operation manager slash GC following the certain things that were planned out, like the LMAs and getting the material changes and the timelines, the budgets. And as we scaled with more properties, it was time to scale with the team. But you definitely want to make sure that the capital is coming in for your business, and you feel real comfortable with the person that's the operation manager. Now, there is also within the EOS, it will tell you, and I'm going to share this stuff with you as well. It's going to tell you when your leadership is kind of to the point where you take it to the next level. You will know, because first of all, when you do start this off, you want to make sure that your person is meeting your mission, meeting your vision, meeting your core values. And once he's meeting all those things, it'll make it easier to run. And I think without this program, it's taken me years to kind of figure out and grow. Otherwise, I was on these projects constantly, like myself, individually with subs, and I was in a position where it was hard to grow and go anywhere. Sorry, that might have been a longer answer there than you needed.
I love it. I love getting into your mind and seeing like at what point was that tipping point for you. And I feel like you described it very well. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Okay, so with this being said, we have a company scorecard that we keep track of how the budget's going, how the timeline is going, your weekly budget, your networking, points of contacts, how many you got contacts you coming in, new leads that are coming in, ones that you're closing for the week. So this gives you a little idea of this. I will be sharing all this too with you. So you'll get a copy of this. You should be able to get to the point with running this program, this EOS, that you can be in, say, Florida, California, anywhere, and you could, on your weekly meeting, because I'm going to talk about a weekly meeting, you'll have two as well, and you want to have them on the same day and same time. And you could be literally on the beach with a cocktail or coffee, whatever you drink, and you should be able to go through these things and basically be like, hey, budget, are we on or off? Timeline, are we on or off? And if you're on, then hey, that's great news. You're on it. If there's, for some reason, you're off budget, you're off timeline, that's something that that you can keep track of and know at the next meeting and start identifying and solving these solutions. And again, it's back to the EOS. There's more programs to figure out that as well. So, Miranda, do you have some questions about the scorecard here?
Do you fill this out, or does someone on your team fill it out? And how often do you update it?
So, yeah, good question. So together with your operation manager, I sit down and I got the idea of the whole budget and the timeline, but going over the budget and timeline with your operation manager, so he knows as far as how to keep the subs on track. So he's the LMA, remember, leading, managing, accountable for these subcontractors who come in the project. And so he can keep them on track. Now, you'll also want to give some grace in those areas. Like I always have somewhat of a, little buffer in there. And then I create bonuses for them. If they're hitting their timelines, if they're hitting their budgets, they need to be rewarded, for that. Because I'll be rewarded because I sell the property sooner. So if you're using private investors out there, you get to pay them off sooner. And then I would also bonus them out if you're closing it sooner than later. So most of the time I use private investors, by the way. Well, I am now. So
I love
you have more questions on that?
Not that I could think of, but I'll let you know. This is amazing.
Does anyone else have any questions that's out there as I go through this? We can always bounce out. We're also gonna answer some more questions at the end if you have any, and we'll also send out all this stuff that we're using, these tools. So I'm going to go on to what does this look like as a whole? As you create this whole program, this whole EOS program, what does it look like? So we're going to go to what is called the Vision Traction Organizer. So this is our core values at the top here. Do what we say, do it right, develop lasting relationships, discuss openly and honestly. Can you imagine out there, if whoever's out there, they're flipping homes right now, and you have your subcontractors and your GC that they're constantly open and honest with things that are going on, whether it's budget or things that are going with the subcontractors, or you're just building great relationships and you guys are growing as a team and everyone's doing it right and they're doing what they say. Man, how smooth would your projects be? They'd be running on time probably. So core focus, we're providing beauty and quality and the value of people's lives in the Cincinnati area. That's what we're all about. And we're revitalizing homes in great locations. So those are our core focus. We do have a 10-year target. I just had to separate all this because I had a meeting. The guy that trains me on EOS, he's in Nashville. And just realized that with the rentals and the flips, I actually have to separate these businesses. So I no longer can keep one EOS program. I've got to switch to two programs because they're two different businesses. I mean, they have different credit cards, they have different checking accounts. So this 64 homes has changed. Originally on the 10-year target, you'll see kind of in the middle here, I have 64 homes. And now it's changed because, hey, now we're also got to do all these rentals. So one of the things we've done just in the last, say, 10 months, we've done eight doors and 2 flips. So we've done a total of 10 doors, but 8 of them were actual rentals. They weren't flips. Well, that's a different business. That's my Primetime Real Estate LLC and not the flipping Cincy business. So I'll slow down here a little. Do you have any questions?
So when you were, I guess, building your vision, was it all based off of like a higher 5-year, 10-year plan, then you worked backwards, or did you focus on what you're doing now and then how to build out from there?
Yeah, good question. So we started it out when I sat down with him, and this was like, it was more than just a few days putting this together. I think he started out, we almost did like a 2-week session of building it out, but it was like a 1 year. We came up with we started with core values, core focus, kind of like it's in the order on the left. Core values, core focus. Well, then that doesn't make sense because that has the 10-year target plan. But we looked at it as a 1-year plan, a 3-year plan, and then a 10-year plan. Now, some businesses, because this EOS is not just for real estate, you can use this for any business you have out there. I mean, huge corporations use this if you Google it. But yeah, so some companies they may only do a 1, and they may do like a 2-year instead of a 3. So they all usually typically will have the 10-year, but they may have a 1, 3, 5, and 10. So it just all depends where you're at in your career. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because I feel like people sometimes get too hung up on, where they're going to be in 10 years. And then you hear another person say, oh, just focus on where you are today. And then another person says, oh, well, you need to have a 5-year plan and work backwards. But so I feel like there's a lot of mixed, I guess, advice out there. So someone who, has like anywhere between 1 to 10 flips under their belt, and they're looking to scale and they're looking to build their business like this, what would be like the best recommendation for it? Like for them.
Yeah, so I was very challenged with this because when I sat down and talked to his name Slater, he's like, this is part of the program. We got to figure it out. You got to have a 1. He was like, it doesn't have to be exact. And I was all about, because that's the way my mind works. I want it to be exact. I got to have the exact number. He's like, you're not going to know. Like, this is just an estimate. He's like, you can adjust it once you create this, and you're going to know because you're going to be creating it as you go along. Because part of this plan too is you actually, with your leadership team, you're sitting down and you're changing it. So you're 90 days out, you may change and say, hey man, I think what we put together here is not, possible. We need to build this out. So very good question. But yeah, I was very stressed about like having to, I don't know where I'm going to be in 10 years or 3 years. I don't even know where I'm going to be in a year.
Right?
I hope I'm still doing this. No. That's did that help a little?
Yeah, it did. Thank you.
Yeah, it was very, very stressful for me because I was going home after our meetings like, I don't know what number to give him. I don't know how many. What if I run into this? What if I run into that? And he's like, it doesn't matter. It's just an estimate. You can change it in a year. We just changed actually this because I decided to split up the businesses because they were just a month. I mean, I just went to see him a couple of weeks ago, and he was like, look, you need to split this up. And I'm like, no, I hate it here now because I'm like, man, this is creating more work. So, but they tell you to work on your business and not in your business all the time because that makes it hard to grow. So, so we got our target market, 3 unique. We trust local realtors with no commission, buyers with no hidden fees. We have seller protection plans on things, which are like, home warranties, and we do tax abatements and different things like that on the properties. Not all areas here offer tax abatements, but some areas do. So And then down here, we have our rocks. Are you familiar with what rocks are?
I am not.
Okay. So if you filled a jar up and you had rocks in it, you had sand in it and pebbles, what do you think you would take out first to get rid of to make more room?
The rocks?
Good. Awesome. So that's what your rocks are. So once you take these big rocks out, then it's easier to focus on it'll free you up for those smaller things. So 20% of your efforts make up for 80% of your success, right? So focus on the essentials and it'll be easier to grow the business. So very important to do there. So the rocks, when you have these weekly meetings, that's what you're going to be talking about is those heavy things, those rocks that are weighing you down. It may be a subcontractor that things are just not going the way they seem, and you have to work with them to figure out why that is. Now, I had this program during the pandemic. I mean, it wasn't the subcontractor's problem. It was the problem was we couldn't get stuff. You couldn't get your fixtures, your finishes, your equipment because things were delayed. So how do we fix that problem? Well, it was a world problem. So there's tough things that you have going on there. So
Yeah.
then let's see what else. So we went over the scorecard.
Mhm.
The we can I think we can move on to some of the other stuff here if you're okay with that. Do you have any questions on this at all?
Nope,
Miranda,
not at the moment. Let's see.
okay. We're going to be pulling up a different screen, so I just wanted to check. And we'll be talking about this level 10 meeting as well on the next page. And that's that weekly meeting that I was talking about with scorecards and reviews and going over your rocks. And this is a weekly meeting that is on the same day and same time. And the reason you do that is it's easier for people to schedule if they know every week they're going to be meeting with their leadership team. So it's easier for your operation manager to schedule with subs because he knows he's going to be at this meeting for the week. Okay, so we move forward.
Yeah. And about like how long, I guess, during the week do you feel like you're working on your business versus in your business?
Lately, a little more with the changes that I've got going on with the having to. I actually just took on a marketing. We talked about this earlier, more on the social media and marketing that we're growing in the business. So I've been spending a little more time on that. But the more you bring these people in that are going to help you to elevate your business, it's going to make it easier to give you time to work on the business instead of in the business. So I find I have more time to be able to launch other things and fill other parts of my leadership team to grow it. Whether you have to have, 2 operation managers running on different projects or like on the primetime real estate on my rental side, we're actually managing. We don't have a company managing the rentals. We do it ourselves. So we have software programs to handle that. And then I got a guy that works directly for me that is a property manager. And so he's doing the property management, but he's stepping in on some of these smaller projects for operations. So if we have smaller flips, he's able to do both. So, and that makes it easier for me to find new properties, working with the CFO on the financial and the budgets and things like that.
Awesome.
Okay, let's see. So we will go back here and we're going to switch screens up. Again, we're going to be sharing all this with you guys. At the end, you're going to have the whole EOS program and the paperwork for it, and along with a project book that I know Miranda's super excited about. That has like QR codes, and the QR codes next to them, it'll have the fixtures and finishes and things that we're using on a project that we're working on right now that you can actually see and have. And it has on the last page, it'll tell you how to put it together. And this was taken, I do have a designer that did pick out the fixtures and finishes, but I took it to this level to be able to speak for my operation manager to hand it off to the subs to speak to them in a way that communicates a little easier, because on these projects, you're going to have these hot days. It's getting busy and people are trying to figure out what goes where and if the sizes of these fixtures and finishes. And
Yeah.
I not only send it to them, I also I send them an email, but I also have the book printed out in color there for them. So I'm going to share this book with you as well. So okay, present. Okay, present, stop screen, present, and we are going to go to, these are the worksheets. Share this. We've got that. So we were there, weren't we? So we need to share the other one that's presented.
Yes.
Oh yeah, this is it. Okay. How are we on time?
We're doing good. We're doing good.
I know I get to talking and say, heck, I wasn't going to go over this, but this may, if we have time, then I may be able to throw this in.
Yeah.
Are we good with that?
Yeah. I do have a question here. How does an EOS system differ from like other platforms? Can you give an example of how like EOS compares? Like, what's the comparable to EOS?
Yeah. So, well, I was in California for, and I had to be brought back to figure out, okay, is this in my EOS program or not? And this has got to do with SOPs. You're familiar with those, aren't you? The putting your systems and your standard operating procedures.
Yeah.
So EOS also has that, which I'll go over here in a few minutes. I know some people use Monday.com and then SOPs to run their business, but I felt like this program had all these tools and more to offer, and it just worked in a way that, and the person that taught me this, they owned over 20 something anytime fitness places. And I figured if they could run those businesses on this program, then I probably could do a flipping business. I think they've retired that business already. So, and I think they're semi-retired, if not retired, the few people that did it. So I was very impressed with the program. So that's why I've used it. Did that help to answer it?
Yeah, no, I think that helped a lot.
Okay. So this form here is about your leadership, and this actually would be for me too, because I'm leading, and then also my operation manager, he's LMA and he's leading. So I'm giving clear direction. So these are just simple questions. Am I providing necessary tools? Am I actually letting them? I'm letting go of the vine. I'm letting them be able to delegate and elevate to go to the next level. So if I'm not doing that and I'm stepping back into business constantly, then I'm not able to grow other aspects of the business. Mm-hmm. Act with the greater good in mind. Company vision, that's the VTO, that's the vision, traction, and organizer that we talked about with the vision, the mission, and the vision, mm-hmm. and the actions and the decisions, and just walking and talking the talk. So, I mean, I also have to follow by my core values. I mean, I can't just expect them to do it and then I don't do it myself. So taking clarity.
GWC.
What's that?
Well, what is GWC? It's under I am letting go of the vine.
GWC. You know what? That's a good question. I don't even know. I'll have to look that up. GWC. Huh.
Do you recommend?
Maybe I have a brain fart or something. I don't know what it is. Huh. I'll look back on that. I'll figure that out.
Okay.
Any other questions that I may be able to help you with?
The blank legal pad under I am taking clarity breaks. What's a blank legal pad?
Blank.
It's
taking clarity breaks. Oh, okay. Yeah. So we create this whole thing that we're putting together for our business, and taking the breaks and just relook at them to make sure we're clear about what our business goals are. Like, for instance, like that, me splitting the rentals up from the flips. When he started stepping me through the flipping Cincy stuff, they didn't all add up because they were rentals. So did the areas match up with where I was going to be renovating for these bigger luxury apartments? So, and then the scaling, the mission on it, and the core values, those remained the same, but there was other things that didn't match. So, getting a legal pad and getting clarity on your business and taking the time to do that it's going to help you in the long run, so you don't end up tripping over yourself.
Yeah. Can you zoom in a little bit more? Someone just said it's a little bit small on the Instagram screen, and they did ask if they could get copies of this, which yes.
Yes, you will get copies of all this.
Giving us the codes.
Actually, I'm sorry, what was that?
I was saying you're going to give us the words or the codes at the end that we need to know to get all of this.
You're going to get the whole toolbox. And actually, I don't have time to go everything here. And so you're going to get, more than I'm showing you today. So yeah, definitely. Okay. So can they see this now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to just go slow here so they can kind of get a better idea, but I will get them a copy of this. And again, you'll get this today. Like once we're done here, we will make sure we send all the copies to you of not only this, but also the project book. So you're going to get the EOS tools and resources to use for your business, and you're going to get the project book all free. I want you guys to be excel in what you're doing out there.
You're awesome.
Okay. So let's go to the next thing here. Oh, we just talked about this. How are we doing on time? We good?
Yes. Yeah. We're doing it.
Okay. How is this? Can you see this all right? Is everybody good?
Maybe just a little bit more.
Okay. How's that?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. So this is part of your level 10 meeting. So this is where you're identifying, you're discussing, and you're solving these issues and problems. There is a link that I'm going to have in your level 10 meeting. I got two documents for you. One is a Word document and one is a PDF. So that way you can type in when you have these meetings with your leadership team. You can actually, type them in and add things to your to-do list and where you're going. So a lot of times when we're sitting down at these tables and we're having our level 10 meetings, we're trying to identify these issues. We don't go over the problems right away. We first get all the problems down there. We take the top 3 or 4 ones of the week for the week and focus on those. Those are your rocks. Those are the problems that you start taking those rocks out of that jar. You're going to free up so much more time, and those little problems are going to, I'll tell you what, once you take those rocks out of there, some of those other ones are going to go away regardless. So keep that in mind. But then you're going to also discuss that with your leadership team once a week of what those are and how you can solve. Now, this will probably be a question if it hasn't come up in the little chat box there. What if they start happening every week? What if you're not getting rid of these issues? You got to dig deeper though and see what these issues are really where they're coming from. So if you all of a sudden get into it's 3 or 4 weeks out and you still have not solved that issue, then you may want to take that to something that is a rocks, something that may be further, like a 90-day rocks, not just your week or 2 weeks. Like, for example, you were going to ask me this, weren't you? Give me an example. You were. I knew you were. You were looking at me like, yeah, come on. Okay. So for me, would you think, okay, for instance, like hiring a new CFO, a chief financial officer, that would be a rock. That would be a long-term rock. Like that's not typically something that you just do in a week. Hey, I'm going to hire the person to be my chief financial officer in 1 week. No, that may take longer than 90 days to interview and really dive deeper to see who will be a fit for that project. Also, maybe like finding that GC, that didn't take me a week, man, to find that operations/GC. It took longer than a week. I mean, that probably took me, you were going to ask me this too, weren't you? Like, it was probably, really a couple months or so to find the right one, find the right fit. I'm stopping. So if you have any questions or people have questions.
Thank you. Let me check the chat.
We good? Oh, okay.
So is the point of the rocks, are you trying to get rid of all your rocks or just manage them to where they're not taking up too much of, the bowl you have them in?
Yes. Yeah. You're not, this doesn't mean you just you're letting go subs left and right.
Yeah.
Now, if they're not meeting your core values though, and you're realizing that, there's actually another worksheet to help you decide if they are meeting your core values. Even at the top of it, it has your visions, your missions, and like checks and balance. So plus and minus if they're meeting it or not weekly. Mm-hmm. And if they're not meeting your core values, then I would say that's probably not the right fit for your business. If they're not, in my business, if all of a sudden I have people that they're not being open and honest, if they're not following through with what they're saying, mm-hmm. So doing it right and being open and honest, that's huge. Like materialists that they're not telling me what's going on, and there's materials there that are disappearing, that's a problem, So fixtures and finishes that are not showing up. And so, you want to make sure they're meeting your core values. Okay. Anything else?
Not at the moment. I'll let you know.
Okay. I'm going to go to the next one just so we have time for some of the other stuff, because I've kind of added a few things in here. Okay. The accountability chart. This is the first thing we went over. If you're just joining us, this is where the top part, this would actually be you. There's usually a visionary and an integrator, a visionary and an integrator for your accountability chart. And then from there, it goes down. So some of these other positions for the real estate side of it, it would be, operation manager, a GC, this would be your accountant. And then probably what you'd have here with the accountant is below it would be the bookkeeper. So your accountant would overlook the bookkeeper. You would have someone, hopefully in your business, once you're at the top and you're growing this business, that's overlooking the accountant, the CPA. And then the same here, where as these businesses grow, you have this position. This could be sales. This could be marketing. So you could have people that are overlooking each one of these. So you're sitting on top of here and you're on a beach somewhere with a cocktail or coffee or whatever you like, but that's the idea of this. So you'll be shared this. Now, this is hard to see. I'm going to blow this up because I have a feeling it probably is. So functions name, the roles. So with you having a copy, you're going to be able to, fill this stuff out. And again, this will take longer. This is not something that you can't go in this and think you're going to have this all done in a week. That's just not how it works.
How long did it take you to build yours?
What's that?
How long did it take you to build yours?
I'm still building it. So right now, back of my chart, you'll see there was a lot of positions that I'm still, I have a bookkeeper, but I have a accountant, but I'm overlooking the bookkeeper. And I would like the accountant be overlooking the bookkeeper. So there's some things that I have to work through. So as far as, it's a constant work in progress with having people in the positions and growing the positions and things like that. But I would say without this, I'd probably be still not doing like, I've now grown the portfolio to do more rentals and stuff like that. And we're excelling in the flips. So I've taken off from, before I wasn't doing 10 doors in 10 months, that's taken me up to scale. And I'm also not only doing that, I'm a realtor represent buyers and sellers. So I'm with Remax in Cincinnati. I'm licensed in both Ohio and Kentucky. So I have a business where I have rentals, I have flips, and I also am a realtor representing buyers and sellers. Nice. So if you need help out there, give me a call. Yeah. I can help you out. So, but did that help answer the question?
Absolutely. And
Okay.
as you were building it, what if you were able to go back to the beginning, is there anything that you would have done differently or any mistakes that you made that you would want to, prevent someone else from making that you can remember when you were first starting this?
Yes, getting away from your core values, making excuses because you don't. So I get to the point where you're like, I'll try to make this work. It's kind of like dating that ex that you're like, maybe I'll go back. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. And you're like, man, I'm just not getting anywhere here. Is that a
Yeah.
bad scenario?
I mean, it's relatable.
What's that?
I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. So
Yeah, you're like, wait, I keep on going back to the same thing and it's not working. It's not working. Not to say that some things work out, but 10 years later, if you're in the same position, maybe there's a problem.
yeah.
So, someone used this scenario. Like, I've actually heard this a lot on some people that were flipping homes. It's like, I feel like I'm going back to the X with buying the next flip, buying the next flip, buying the next flip. And I've been there, and it's like, man, it's horrible because you're like, you feel like you're going backwards. So hopefully this will scale you. But I've done this, and there's still days where I have to keep myself accountable to the mission. And I just talked to you yesterday about this. I shared some stuff with you that was on my heart and that I was going through and scaling. And it's probably a story for another time, and I'll share with some of the people I know. But it's tough, but it is so much better than it was before. And it's I'm a work in progress too, so I'm not perfect. So my wife will tell you that every day. So let's see. Leadership, we went over that. Yeah, we didn't go over this, did we? The three
Yeah, we
process.
did. Oh wait, no.
I don't think so, because this is the SOP for EOS, the 3-step process documenter. So for your leadership team, you want to have processes that you're doing, like the SOP for your operating system. So your sales and how you're going to serve people and what you're going to do. It's a document. Now, again, going back to here it is right there. You see, keep it simple. The 20/80 approach. Each core process should be fully documented, 1 to 5 pages. Only 1 to 5 pages, not 30, 40, 100 pages of how to do it, because guess what? They're not going to do it. If it's that long, they're going to get lost and it's not going to get done. So have a simple process put in place and repeat those steps over and over. And one of the things my business coach told me, he was like, do you know how many times you actually have to say a word to someone for them to actually soak it in? And it's not 1, it's not 2, it's not 3 times. It's like over 7 times.
Wow.
So he's like, when you talk about your vision and your mission, you need to be saying that all the time, what your mission, and reminding your leadership team and your subs and the people around you of what you're doing and what you're about. And do I do that all the time? No, I need to work on that. So I'm work in progress. So this goes over combining each. Did you have something to add?
No, no, that's great. I mean,
Definitely not
I feel
perfect.
like it needs to be like a header on your email or something that just goes out every time you're talking to someone.
Yeah, like I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. We're in this together. So repeating, and here it is right there. Repeat the steps for every core process over and over. It says at the very bottom here, like you got to go over it over and over. And then you're combining each document, so it's in one package. And then some of the stuff will take. People love the images on things. So just like okay, I'm going to show you that here soon. The project book I'm looking at the time. Okay. The project book that I'm going to show you, there's pictures everywhere there because it's fixtures and finishes, and there's UPC codes, so you can scan those, and it'll take you right to the products, and it's awesome. So
It is awesome.
let's see.
I'm excited for you to share
You
it.
guys will get all this information again. At the end, we're gonna send you. All you have to do is all you're gonna have to do is send a response to us, and you're gonna get this. It's gonna go directly into your email box, or actually right on your phone. So we're gonna get this to you. Okay. Anything else? I'm going to the next one then.
No, you're good.
All right, cool. Let's see. We got that one.
Mhm.
And that one.
Yeah.
There it is. Okay. It's taking us back. Yes. So you guys, this is awesome. This is where it all starts, man. Really, this is your. Let's go down. Vision traction organizer. Can you see this? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'll try to blow it up just a little more. So the vision organized tracker. I showed you this in the very beginning as well. You got your core values, your vision, and you can fill out what your core values are. Core focus. Take some time to really think about this too. Like, for your core values, it's important. It's part of your whole business. Your purpose, your cause, your passion, your 10-year target. You're all about that one, aren't you?
Yep.
3-year target on the right, your marketing strategies, and then you go down here and you got your 1-year plan. That's where you want to start, right? Get the 1-year plan, then you can go on the rest. And then your rocks. So you're going to have your quarterly rocks here. So one of my quarterly rocks right now is we're implementing systems for the actual accountant. So we're trying to get some systems put in place for the accountant. The marketing team also, like, putting pieces together there. We're looking for a VA to handle some of the marketing too. Like, I'm trying to create a store. I talked to her about this too, like the store for Amazon, the Amazon store.
Yeah.
So, and putting together the fixtures and finishes in an Amazon store and things like that. So, and then your issues list over here on the right, you would be going over these issue lists once a week, where you're identifying, discussing, and solving. I am going to give you a video of how this works. It's less than, I think it's like 8 or 9 minutes, and it goes over how to run those meetings that are the once a week meetings, the level 10 meetings. They're 90 minutes. You don't want to be going over 90 minutes. You show up on time, you get the meeting started on time, you go over 90 minutes with your leadership team. Now, will that be less as you start? Yes. It's not going to be 90 minutes from the beginning. Any questions?
Check.
Any questions at all?
Let's see. For the rocks, for the quarter, because I know you said the marketing team and everything. I mean, at what point are you, I guess, how are you separating what is technically a rock and what isn't? What isn't?
How do you separate a rock and that it's a 90? They're all rocks. It's just some of the rocks are longer. So you're going to have weekly rocks, but then you're going to have 90-day rocks, and then you're going to have yearly rocks.
Okay.
So separating those, the smaller issues, meaning, first, do they mean by smaller or the larger issues for the week? Because it's like, if you're replacing someone, that's going to be a longer one, and definitely make sure that it's because the core values are not met. But if it's like, okay, we're supposed to get hardwood floors or fixtures and finishes, and they're not showing up. That's typically something that can be figured out unless there's a leadership problem. When I say that, is the person not meeting your core values and falling through, and you're constantly having an issue with it? It's probably that means that it's not the right seat, because you should be able to, and this is what the COS says, you should be dropping at least 3 to 4 of those things off your list weekly. And these are like major items that are not replacing someone, like something like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So, okay. Good question. Yeah, it's a really good question. Because I struggle with that and had to go back to my coach and be like, do I need to fire everyone? No, maybe it's because I'm not giving them what they need. Maybe I'm not giving them the tools or resources they need. So that's where it comes into those meetings where you're digging deeper. And that, when you see this video and it talks about it's 8 minutes, that's really, it's great. And that's just, I need to let them know that it's actually not a video sent to you. It's a link that I have embedded in the level 10 meeting. It's at the very bottom of it. There's a link that it'll talk and tell you it'll send you right to I believe it's a YouTube video, and it's the level 10 meeting and how to run a level 10 meeting. So
Wow. I'm excited to watch that.
yeah, it's good. Okay, so we're getting close, I know, but we need to leave some time for this. So let's go over this.
Okay.
Actually, I will say this is the level 10 meeting, and see at the bottom here, right here, how to run an effective meeting tutorial, right here. So just go down here, you click on this, and this is your level 10 meeting that you're having an hour and a half, same day, same time, and you're going over this stuff.
Now, do you start doing these even when it's only like maybe you and one other person in your business, or is this for when you have like a bigger team?
You may not have it like every week if you're just starting off. It may be every couple weeks. And is it a challenge usually to get someone that's not only, because these are subs too, like some of these people as you start, because you're not able to hire them full time. You just don't have the capital to do it, right? You're trying to still scale. So it may be someone that you could meet up every couple weeks, but you'll find out pretty quick. I think there's some people that I've worked with when I first started that I was like, I was going to meetings and I wasn't getting through them, and it was because they didn't meet my values. And I was like, man, what's going on? And I went back to my coach and I'm like, I'm having a hard time. I hired this person, it's still not working. We're chasing I'm still in the business. I'm still working in the business and not on the business. And eventually, once I got that person that was the right person and the right lead, I was able to start really seeing the light. I was like, oh my gosh, I was no longer in the darkness. I seen the light. I was like, this is working now. So give yourself some grace as you start growing this.
Okay.
I know you want to talk about this. We're getting ready to, this is your favorite right here.
Woo!
So this, what's that?
No, go ahead.
Oh, no. This is a project book that we put together. The designer, so I have a designer that is on my EOS as part of the leadership team. She's amazing, and she does all my design stuff. But I took the pictures from the fixtures and finishes and everything we're using, and I put them together here, so you could the subs can scan these, and it will take you directly to the fixtures and finishes. It will give you the size of them. It will give you what kind of light bulbs you need for them. The cabinets. And so this is very, very helpful, and it's communicated great with not only subs. What I do is I print out a color. I have a copy for me. I give a copy to my leadership team, and I also email them it too. So they also have the email. So it's like, hey, it's all right there. It saves on calls. Like they're not going to be calling you, hey, because I used to do it with like just Excel and just a link, and it was like, my phone's doing this. I'm not able to, pull it up or something, or there was something that was going on that made it hard for them. Anyone can pretty much scan a QR code and get that. So.
Do your contractors like this? Like, does it make their job easier, or?
Yeah, they do. They've used this because then, like I said, I typically get more calls on it, and it makes it easier. The one thing I can say that you'll also need to do is obviously you'll have plans there. You want to have plans and directionals on where like these items go. So like from the designer, she already has in there where each item goes, and then we have an architect that he also has plans as well. So it's having these extra tools at the project is going to help. Now, if someone's maybe asking, they're using a different tool that may have a different idea of doing. This is just what we just started doing this, and it seemed to help. So you do gotta remind your contractors that this is there though. Like remember, like not just once, a couple times, because they may call you and say, "Hey, I was looking for this," and that would be of course, your operation manager and your GC that should be answering that, not me, because I'm working on the business, not in it. So they should be handling this part. and they can let you know on those weekly meetings how it's working. So.
And I think you mentioned before, you said you have barcodes for like if they have common questions, they can scan something and it'll be a video of you answering like a common question, right? Do you have that, or is that something you're working on?
I have not done that. That's a good question. I haven't worked on that one yet. So that is something, because you could implement even a video. Yeah, that the video would be cool to tell them how it's, how something's getting put together. So I know some people just write on the walls and stuff, but eventually, say if it's completely gutted, you're going to be going back a lot because eventually you're going to have drywall on it, right? So at least this book is something it's sitting there. You put it in a place that that your contractors can see it. But if you can't write things on the walls when they're not there. So like your drywall and things like that, or putting notes up. So this is helpful.
So have you noticed like your contractors and people reaching out to you less because of this?
Yes. My operation manager reaches out to me less because of this. So he's in charge if he has questions, but
Yeah.
And I also having the construction specialist on it. So the operation, the plumber, typically I'd have all the phone numbers on here too for people to contact if there's an issue. And then here, when you get this, it's going to tell you how to create it. And this is a free link too that you can get these QR codes. So you use PowerPoint or you can use Google Slides. I find it easier to take the picture of the logos. That if you have a designer, she's going to give you my designer also gives me a design board. So I do have the design board as well that I can have at the property. And then I still put the Excel sheet inside this book. On the other side of the book, it's like has the Excel sheets, but you can't scan. You're going to type in the long for instance, like for like say something for Amazon, you're going to type all that stuff in while you're sitting on a project to go to the Amazon link. Right. It takes forever to type the link in. Some of those links for Amazon are freaking so long. It's like you get lost. Press and hold these 3 keys. Yeah, that's how I was just put in here how you do it on Mac to copy and paste. So how we got like 4 or 5 minutes left here?
Yeah, 7 minutes.
7 minutes. Okay. So questions answered, but how are you? Should we share how they're going to get this stuff?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's make sure it works before we get off the call. So
yeah.
I just created this in the last 2 hours ago. So hopefully this works. So all you're going to have to do is respond to the live. Just respond book for this book, BOOK, book for this. And then for the EOS tools, you can respond tools, TOOLS. And once you respond that, you should get, it should go back to you and give you a link, and you should be good. Let me know if anyone's out there that can let us know if it's working okay. That'd be great. We tested it and we thought